안녕하세요. 잘 들리나요? 한재준입니다. 저는 저희 보리스 코한 선생님하고 김창식 선생님을 통해서 그란샨을 알게 됐습니다.
Hello, my name is Jae-joon. I came here based upon the invitations from Boris and myself.
비라틴 문자를 세계에 널리 알리겠다라는 그런 취지를 제가 전해 들었고 아주 감동을 받았고요. 그 취지에 저도 함께 참여하기 위해서 제가 서울에서 나와봤습니다.
I was very happy the way I can be part of the Granshan because the Granshan mission statement is about focusing on the study and research of non-Latin characters and the type.
한글 아시죠? 코리안 알파벳.
Do you know Korean alphabet? We call Hangul.
알파벳은 알파벳인데 좀 특별한 알파벳이죠.
This is typically in foreigners saying Korean alphabet, but it's very special alphabet, and we wouldn't say alphabet, we just strictly call Hangul. Because there is a meaning, and he's going to explain later on.
지금부터 한글의 핵심 가치를 소개드리겠습니다.
Now I'm going to make a little condensed history of the Korean Hangul, about the principles and the way, the reason why this has been invented by the man.
한글은 569년 전에 만들어졌습니다.
It was invented 569.
1443년이죠.
In 1443, so 569 years ago, in 1443.
조선의 제4대 왕 세종이 만들었습니다.
Made by a king whose name is Sejong. He was the first king in Lee Dynasty in Korea.
지금 제가 살고 있는 그 서울 한복판에 있는 옛 궁궐 경복궁에서 만들었습니다.
There is a palace in the middle of Seoul, which is a little bit northern part of Seoul. That's where the Hangul was invented.
그 세종의 본명은 이도이고요. 당시에 저분의 춘추가 47살이었습니다.
His original name is Lee Do, and when he invented Hangul, he was 47 years old.
만들 때 처음 이름은 훈민정음이었습니다.
The original name of the Hangul is Hun-min-jeong-eum, which stands for sound for educational writing systems for ordinary people.
지금의 이름은 한글인데 큰 글, 오직 하나뿐인 글이라는 뜻을 가졌습니다.
Although the original name was Hun-min-jeong-eum, it was based on the 4 Chinese characters, a little bit difficult to understand, so we shortened the name, so now we call Hangul. And this means the greatest letter, and which is the only one systems, one kind of letter systems in the world.
1910년대에 한글이라는 이름이 새로 붙여졌습니다.
1910, this name Hangul was applied by a couple of different scholars.
지금은 저 24 자음으로 구성되어 있습니다. 모음이 10자, 자음이 14자.
When you see these characters from left to right, the left-hand side, where you see the vertical line and the 2 horizontal dots, those are the vowels. And the other one that looks like a box format, which also includes a little triangular form and the circular form together, those are consonants. So totally altogether 24.
창제 때는 28자였는데 이 4 자음은 지금 사라져서 거의 쓰이지 않고 있습니다.
At the time it was invented, this one had 4 more characters. What you see over here, these are the original characters, but now it's gone and we don't use it anymore.
북한에서는 조선글이라고도 부릅니다.
The same Hangul we use North Korea and South Korea. By political reasons we are divided, but in the North Korea side they call Hangul as Joseongul.
But it's the same. But it's the same.
So it's the same system, they just name differently.
준비된 영상을 보시겠습니다.
Now I'm going to show you a little video, 3 to 4 minutes. It has very nice, concise explanations. And then he will explain more detail later on.
역사적인 기록을 근거로 했고 상상은 조금 보태서 만들었습니다.
So this video is based on the historical reference, but he added a little bit more imagination. So in the modern time we can understand easily.
5분 정도 모음 글자는 하늘, 땅, 사람을 상징화해서 표현했습니다.
All the Korean characters based upon three different entities: universe, human, and the land, which is earth. So that's why you see the video captures that principle.
저 세 개의 요소를 기초로 확장, 전개합니다.
So those three elements, universe, human being, and the land, all combined a different way, top to bottom, left to right, construct all 26 consonants and the vowels.
이 점을 태양으로 상상해서
The dot in the middle is the sun.
땅 위로 해가 솟아나면 밝은 소리가
The horizontal line below the line there, that's representing the earth where we live. And everything above is the universe.
땅 아래로 해가 지면 어두운 소리가 됩니다.
If the dot goes below the horizontal line, you get the dark and strong voice. And if the dot goes higher, and you have a lighter tone and the lighter voice and the soft voice.
사람의 오른쪽, 동쪽에 해가 있으면 밝은 소리가 되고 사람의 왼쪽에 해가 있으면 어두운 소리가 됩니다.
If the dot goes to the right-hand side of the vertical line, it generates a little bit more active sound. If it goes left, it's more like inner sound. You suck up the air and your sound is a little bit stopped. So now you see all the combinations of vowels. Those were vowels.
다음 자음 글자가 만들어지는 과정입니다.
Now you will see the principle of making consonant. So you started with the square.
소리가 나오는 위치를 따랐습니다.
But these consonants were all based on how to make a sound by using our body as a tool, sound tool. So you see the tongue's positions, how much you open the mouth, how much you breathe air.
소리가 더해지면 글자의 줄기가 더해집니다.
Now you see these are 5 basic elements, and it has been added either horizontal line or vertical lines. And it's almost like a principle of a tree where it grows branches and the leaves and fruit. And when you see the double of characters, it makes really strong accent.
왼쪽이 자음이고 오른쪽이 모음입니다. 자, 모음이
Consonants,
글자를
vowels. Now you see the module in the middle.
저 자음은 중성에도 쓰입니다.
The consonant could go the top part or the bottom part, but vowels always stay in the middle. So one consonant at the top, the vowel in the middle, and the other consonant on the bottom. And this one is 2 vowels and 2 consonants.
글자 입력 과정입니다.
This is a keyboard that we typically see. By the way, the typeface you see is made by him.
한글의 확장성을 강조한 모션입니다.
This is just abstract, imaginary approaches how Hangul might become more exciting visuals rather than just writing systems of the characters. So it become more like artistic expressions, and hopefully we can even develop a better letter form for the future usage. And this was a sample that Professor Han made a few years ago for the big art event as 3D motion graphic presentations. So this conceptualized video shows possibility of expansion of writing systems.
세종 이동은 왜 한글을 만들었을까요?
Do you know why King Sejong invented Hangul? Any guess?
어떻게 만들었고 어떻게 보급했을까요?
선생님 저기.
To help his people learn more easily than Hanja.
Yeah, 한자보다 더 쉽게. Yeah, that's exactly right. And he will explain a little bit deeper.
전해드리고 싶은 재밌는 이야기도 많지만 오늘은 제가 꼽은 한글의 핵심 매력 세 가지만 말씀드리겠습니다.
There are so many stories about him and around the invention process of Hangul, but I'm going to make it very concise and it's based upon my interpretations of this principle. And this is King Sejong.
왕이 만들었다는 점이 특별합니다.
The Hangul is so special because it's made by the king. Normally, politicians doesn't care any other, cultural aspect, but he was deeply concerned about the ordinary people. They want to be well-educated and being wealth.
백성을 위해서 만들었다는 점이 특별하죠. 네. 그래서 세종 이동은 이 글자를 통해서 사람들이 세상의 이치를 깨닫기를 바랬습니다.
The other important aspect is through using Hangul, he wanted people understand how the world is working. Because at the 500 years ago or before, as you may know, all other countries same situation. We have rulers and soldiers, and businessmen. But below them, we have other level of human being, and those are the majority of the people who couldn't have opportunity to be educated. So he wanted to make sure his people were all well educated and living really happy.
그래서 글자 이름도 백성을 가르치는 소리, 훈민정음이라고 정한 거죠.
That was the reason he named the Hangul 훈민정음, which I explained earlier. This writing system helped ordinary people become better.
글자에 세상의 이치, 우주의 이치를 담은 것이죠.
So everything is on this letter structure and the system, writing system.
그래서 쉽습니다.
So learning the Hangul is, relatively speaking, is quite easy.
두 번째는 매뉴얼이 있는 글자라는 것입니다.
The other important aspect is the Hangul has a manual. It becomes really important aspect, when people learn this writing system the first time. They have to fully understand not only technically how to write, but also philosophy behind of it, all other references around inventing writing systems.
이 책이 명인본인데요.
And I brought this is obviously a copy, not the original, but it's the original format, exactly same format, reproduced by Korean Hangul Museum.
네. 짧게 해야 될 것 같습니다. 1997년에 유네스코 세계 기록 유산으로도 등재됐습니다.
1997, this was recorded by UNESCO as a memory of the World Register.
이 책 속에 글자를 만든 이유라거나 장고의 이름이라거나 사용 방법 또한 해외본을 집필한 훈민정 학자들의 이름, 만든 시기까지 자세히 기록되어 있습니다.
So this manual book has two different parts. One is like a type specimen, like the technical aspects of Hangul and the writing structures, but also a really important chapter is philosophy behind the inventing Hangul.
그런데 이 책이 500년 동안 어느 구석에 묻혀 있다가 1940년에 발견됐습니다.
But unfortunately, nobody knew where it was until 1970s. So almost like a 500 year, 1940. Almost 500 years, nobody realized that there was a valuable manual like this.
그때부터 한글의 창제 비밀이 세상에 알려지기 시작했습니다.
So since 1940, slowly people pay attention to this, and we will realize the greatest information ever, how this Hangul has been invented and why it is so important.
횟수로 따지면 고작 50년밖에 안 됐습니다.
If we think about discovery of this, it's been only 50 years.
그래서 아직도 한글의 가치를 제대로 아는 사람이 부족한 것이죠.
Because of that, even many Koreans, they don't truly understand the real value of this.
세 번째가 제가 최근에 즐기고 있는 한글의 이기부리의 철학입니다.
Now this is a little bit difficult to translate in English, but let me. What he is going to highlight is these 4 Chinese characters that has a concise statement of this system, what you are seeing in here is the majority of the characters on the pages are actually Chinese. And the reason is, at the time the Hangul invented, everybody used Chinese characters. We had our own language and the speaking systems, but the written system was all based on Chinese. So even if this book meant to be for new Korean writing systems and characters, but in order to explain to the people who already knew Chinese, we have to use the Chinese characters at the time. So there are very philosophical meanings behind them.
이 기본자 8자로 청지자의 모든 소리를 표기할 수 있도록 만든 거죠.
The basic principle started with 8 characters, 3 vowels and the 5 consonants.
놀라운 발상과 실험입니다.
And this is a great idea how he applied the philosophical aspect to making form of the letters in the systems.
하늘과 땅의 이치가 둘이 아니라고.
Again, the universe and the earth are not 2 separate entities. They are all in one. That's what he believed.
소리와 꼴의 이치가 둘이 아니라고.
And the sound and the shape of the letter forms are not separated. They have to be together.
그 이치를 이어낼 주체가 사람이라고 말하고 있습니다.
And that kind of philosophy can be made by human being. That's why he put the human characters in the middle.
그래서 세종이도는 소리와 꼴과 뜻을 하나의 이치로 이어냈습니다.
That's why his approach of making Hangul is a sound, shape, and the reason behind the all of this system should be all together in one.
가볍게 보면 알파벳 같지만 자세히 살펴보면 꼴에도 뜻이 있는 글자입니다.
If you just literally visually look at it, it's just typical any other modernized look of the alphabet, but this one has a lot more meaningful aspects through every single characters.
표기성과 상형성까지 가진
So the meaning and the visuals all together.
창제 원리를 조금 더
And I
살펴보겠습니다.
will explain a little bit more about the basic principles, how it was made.
자음 글자는 발성기관의 좋은 구조를 본떠고요.
As I said earlier, the consonants are all based on the shape of the sound making tools, which is our mouth and teeth and the throat.
모음 글자는 하늘, 사람, 땅을 상징하면서
And the vowels were based on the 3 philosophical characters and the entities, universe, human, and the earth.
하늘, 땅, 사람의 어울림 철학이죠.
Those are all harmonized together.
어울려야 무궁할 수 있다는 이야기입니다.
Once they are all harmonized, it is very forever.
바탕에 이런 기본 조동이 바탕 저 6가지로 이루어져 있습니다.
And then when you see those 3 vowels, it also expanded easily to add a little bit more a closer shape, which is a circle, triangle, and a square.
자음 글자는 처음으로 3개의 글자를 초월해서 확장
There
정해져.
are 3 basic consonants, the red ones, and when you add each line, it becomes the next consonant.
소리를 읽어보면 소리가 변화함에 따라 줄기가 더해집니다.
It sounds difficult, but actually, if you think about your sound-making tools, let's say your tongue, if your tongue is shaped like this, is like a K sound, K. First one is a G, the next one is a K, because you add extra accent. by adding the lines. And it's the same way to make a lighter sound to darker and stronger, heavier sound.
창제 초기의 글꼴 몇 가지인데요.
These were original typeface. It was invented.
자원이 3개를 겹쳐 쓰기도 합니다.
At that time, strange enough, we added the 3 consonants together. Now we don't do it, but at the time,
상하로도 이어쓰기도 하죠.
and even we can put the top and the bottom vertically.
Countries, same situation. We have rulers and soldiers, and businessmen, but below them we have other level of human being, and those are the majority of the people who couldn't have opportunity to be educated. So he wanted to make sure his people all well educated and living really happy.
그래서 글자 이름도 백성을 가르치는 소리, 훈민정음이라고 정한 거죠.
That was the reason he named the Hangul Munminjeong, which I explained earlier. This writing system helped ordinary people become better.
글자에 세상의 이치, 우주의 이치를 담은 것이죠.
So everything is on this letter structure and the system, writing system.
그래서 쉽습니다.
So learning Hangul is, relatively speaking, is quite easy.
두 번째는 매뉴얼이 있는 글자라는 것입니다.
The other important aspect is the Hangul has a manual. It becomes really important aspect when people learn this writing system the first time. They have to fully understand not only technically how to write, but also philosophy behind of it, all other references around inventing writing systems.
이 책입니다. 명인보인데요.
And I brought this is obviously copy, not original, but it's a original format, exactly same format reproduced by Korean Hangul Museum.
짧게 해야 될 것 같습니다. 1997년에 유네스코 세계 기록 유산으로도 등재됐습니다.
1997, this was recorded by UNESCO as a memory of the World Register.
이 책 속에 글자를 만든 이유라거나 장어의 이름이라거나 사용 방법 또는 해례본을 집필한 훈민정 학자들의 이름, 만든 시기까지 자세히 기록되어 있습니다.
So this manual book has two different parts. One is like a type specimen, like the technical aspect of Hangul and the writing structures. But also a really important chapter is philosophy behind of inventing Hangul.
그런데 이 책이 500년 동안 어느 구석에 묻혀 있다가 1940년에 발견됐습니다.
But unfortunately, nobody knew where it was until 1970s. So almost like a 500 years, 1940, almost 500 years, nobody realized there was a valuable manual like this.
그때부터 한글의 창제 비밀이 세상에 알려지기 시작합니다.
So since 1940, slowly people pay attention to this, and we will realize the greatest information ever, how this Hangul has been invented and why it is so important.
횟수로 따지면 고작 50년밖에 안 됐습니다.
If we think about discovery of this, it's been only 50 years.
그래서 아직도 한글의 가치를 제대로 아는 사람이 부족한 것이죠.
Because of that, even many Koreans, they don't truly understand the real value of this.
세 번째가 제가 최근에 즐기고 있는 한글의 미희부리의 철학입니다.
Now this is a little bit difficult to translate in English, but let me. What he's going to highlight is these 4 Chinese characters that has a concise statement of this system, and what you are seeing in here is the majority of the characters on the pages are actually Chinese, and the reason is at the time the Hangul invented, everybody used Chinese characters. We had our own language and the speaking systems, but the written system was all based on Chinese. So even if this book meant to be for new Korean writing systems and characters, but in order to explain to the people who already knew Chinese, we have to use the Chinese characters at the end. So there are very philosophical meanings behind them.
이 기본자 8자로 천지자에는 모든 소리를 표기할 수 있도록 만든 글자.
The basic principle started with 8 characters, 3 vowels and 5 consonants.
놀라운 발상과 실행입니다.
And this is a great idea how he applied the philosophical aspect to making form of the letters and the systems.
하늘과 땅의 이치가 둘이 아니라고.
Again, the universe and the earth are not two separate entities. They are all in one. That's what he believed.
소리와 꼴의 이치가 둘이 아니라고.
And the sound and the shape of the letter forms are not separate. They have to be together.
그 이치를 이어낼 주체가 사람이라고 말하고 있습니다.
And that kind of philosophy can be made by human being. That's why he put the human characters in the middle.
그래서 세종이도는 소리와 꼴과 뜻을 하나의 이치로 이어냈습니다.
That's why his approach of making Hangul is a sound, shape, and the reason behind all of this system should be all together in one.
가볍게 보면 알파벳 같지만 자세히 살펴보면 꼴에도 뜻이 있는 글자입니다.
If you just literally, visually look at it, it's just typical of any other modernized look of the alphabet, but this one has a lot more meaningful aspects through every single characters.
표의성과 상형성까지 가진
So the
글자.
meaning and the visuals all together.
창제 원리를 조금 더
And I
살펴보겠습니다.
will explain a little bit more about the basic principles, how it was made.
자음 글자는 발성기관의 좋은 구조를 본떴고요.
As I said earlier, the consonants are all based on the shape of the sound-making tools, which is our mouth and teeth and the throat.
모음 글자는 하늘, 사람, 땅을 상징하여서
And the vowels were based on the 3 philosophical characters and entities, universe, human, and the earth.
하늘, 땅, 사람의 어울림 철학이죠.
Those are all harmonized together.
어울려야 무궁할 수 있다는 이야기입니다.
Once they are all harmonized, it is very forever.
바탕에 이런 기본 조명이 바탕에서 6가지로 이루어져 있습니다.
And then when you see those 3 vowels, it also expanded easily to add a little bit more a closer shape, which is a circle, triangle, and a square.
자음 글자는 처음으로 3개의 글자를 시초로 해서 확장 정리했습니다.
There are 3 basic consonants, the red ones, and when you add each line, it becomes the next consonant.
소리를 읽어보면 그, 느, 드, 트, 무, 부, 푸, 스, 즈, 치, 흐. 소리가 변화함에 따라 줄기가 더해집니다.
It sounds difficult, but actually, if you think about your sound-making tools, let's say your tongue, if your tongue is shaped like this, it's like a K sound, k. First one is a g, the next one is a k, because you add extra accent by adding the lines. And it's the same way to make a lighter sound to darker and stronger, heavier sound.
창제 초기의 글꼴 몇 가지인데요.
These were original typefaces.
자음이 3개를 겹쳐 쓰기도 합니다.
At that time, strange enough, we added the 3 consonants together. Now we don't do it, but at the time,
상하로도 이어 쓰기도 하죠.
and even we can put the top and the bottom vertically arranged.
이런 점을 활용해서 소리의 높낮이나 소리의 장단까지 표현했습니다.
And also that extra dot right there is indications of the intonation of the sound.
한글의 표의성을 제가 조금 더 설명드리겠습니다.
And also Hangul has a more imaginary approach as a pictogram.
오, 내 사람 이런 뜻이거든요.
That one is "Oh my love."
근데 이 오는 하늘과 대화하는 소리입니다.
The first character says "O," like OH. It is a little bit high pitch and almost like when you make a sound, you look at the sky as if you are talking to heaven.
포로로롱 있는 건데요. 포로로롱 새가 하늘로 날아가는 소리입니다.
포로로롱.
The characters on the top right corner says porororong, which means something that is like a flying or bouncing,
그 글꼴이 다 글자 꼴도 밝은 형태죠.
The reason why it works that way, you remember this character, the vertical line above the line. I said earlier, it is tend to be heading toward the heaven, make a little lighter tone and a rhythmic sound.
무하죠. 기울을 빼는 소리입니다. 무, 땅과 대화하는 소리.
But when it flips over, the visually shows something going deeper on the ground. So the sound was heavier,
식물의 뿌리가 땅으로 내리는
as if the
형태입니다.
root of the plant or the tree is like going into the dirt,
후두두두.
or even like digging the dirt.
하늘에서 빗방울이 떨어지는 소리입니다. 후두두두.
So that's the sound of the raindrop.
다 어두운 글자로 이루어져 있습니다.
So it makes a little bit heavier sound.
아버지는 아, 어머니는 어.
This one is a
음양의
mother. That one is father, and the vowel right there shows a little bit lighter tone on the right hand side, a little bit softer tone on the left hand side.
이건 한글의 조합 구조인데요.
This one is a diagram to show how those vowels and characters might be combined together.
한글이 이렇게 초, 중, 종성으로 이루어져 있습니다.
So here the C stands for consonant, the V stands for vowel. So you see sometimes only one consonant, one vowel, but sometimes two consonant, sometimes two vowels.
늘 중성이 가운데 있습니다. 초성과 중성 가운데에 중성이 있습니다. 중성은 사람을 상징합니다.
But always the middle one, which you see in here, most likely like a rectangular shape, those are vowels. So always the vowel is the center of the structure.
종성은 초성을 활용할 수 있다고 했습니다. 하늘 땅의 순환 구조 그런 철학을 담은 거죠.
And the first one and the last one, those are always consonant, and it represents the universe and the earth.
또 하나의 특성은 한글은 늘 다음 글자로 먼저 시작됩니다.
And always the
40%
consonant
더
starts.
thank you.
The consonants start first.
그리고 꼴만 봐도 자모음 부분이 분명하죠.
When you look at it, you easily see which one is consonant, which one is vowel.
Sind
Unlike the
noch
Latin
ungefähr
or other
70 Minuten.
alphabet, you have to memorize.
45 Minuten.
But this one, structure-wise,
65
already
Minuten
shows what
ungefähr
it is.
noch.
특히 모음 글자는 글자와 소리가 대응하는 능력이 100% 일치합니다.
And the vowels always matching the interactions between the form and the sound.
정리해서 설명을 드리면 시간이 한글은 물말 글꼴을 하나의 이치로 이루어내는 소통체계입니다.
As it says in here, this one is a great communication system that integrate our spirit, mind, and the culture, and the language, and the writing system.
600년 전에 세종 일도가 이루어낸 작품입니다.
And we believe this is a great accomplishment the King Sejong made 600 years ago.
시간이 통역을 하다 보니까 너무 길어졌네요.
Because of the translations, the length of the presentation might be a little bit longer, so we will shorten within 30
제가
minutes.
대학 시절의 신문 표정입니다. 제가 대학 다닌 시절에
This was a typical newspaper, the section of newspapers when he was a college student, 38 plus years ago.
한글이 거의 버려진 상태였죠.
So now what you see is almost every important phrases and the words were Chinese characters, and Korean characters were almost like extra, like informations at the time.
저는 이런 한글을 온전하게 바로 세우고 싶었습니다.
So when I was a college student, I had a dream, that I want to make the right corrections, the way every Korean must use Hangul properly through the media.
지금도 이런 글꼴을 한국에서는 쓰고 있습니다.
These are really popular Korean character and the design based on Latin alphabet structures and Chinese and Japanese.
기억자 하나만 해도 무려 32가지 이상 되죠.
because the writing tool is based on the Oriental brush. So you see the same characters are all different depending on where it goes.
아이들은 글씨를 저렇게 쓰는데 자유롭게 공간 배분을 하는데 어른들은 이렇게 가로수라고 하고 있습니다.
These are the good examples how little children, when they learn how to write the Koreans, they have a whole freedom of going beyond the structures and the modules. But all the adults, they must be learned a perfect balance of the strokes and the characters.
제가 보기엔 바보 멍텅구리 같은.
So I thought teaching that way for adult is like a very ridiculous approach. Why not we can do that freely drawn the letter structure.
근데 제가 학생 시절에 만난 글자꼴입니다. 이 글자꼴 때문에 제가 희망을 얻었습니다.
So this was a sample of the first Korean typewriter letter forms made by Dr. Kong.
그래서 제가 만든 글꼴들입니다.
So I got the inspiration from his typeface, and then this is examples that I made. So you see, this one doesn't fit into the perfect square. It goes a little bit beyond, almost like asymmetrical balance structure.
이건 제가 한글의 표의성을 강조하고자 작업했던 작품입니다.
So these are some experimental posters that I emphasize on the pictorial side of the letter form. So this is not a readable letters. It has a conceptual linkage in between. It's almost like a visual point.
한글 음소의 가치를 살려내고자 시도했던 겁니다.
The sound and the visuals that are integrated together.
이런 새로운 장르를 만드는 방법에 대해서 제안했죠.
And I even try some new vowels and consonant.
한글의 창제 원리를 활용하면
But of
문학
course,
확장이 가능합니다.
of course, I follow the original principle of Hangul.
최근에는 이런 작업도 하고 있습니다.
Now, group of little children, they are playing little blocks. These blocks are Korean vowels and consonants that I made, and by the way, I brought some little toy.
어른들은 변화를 싫어하지만 겁쟁이들이니까요.
The adults are usually very afraid of breaking the traditions.
놀이와 예술로 접근하기로
But
했습니다.
the children are always not worried about it. They just use their imaginations, go with an experiment.
놀이와 예술은 둘이 아니다.
So that experimentation allows us to see the new kind of approach.
아이들이 가지고 놀도록.
So now this is actually the previous photograph was inside of the museum. Now this was the event center, and everybody really expanding their imaginations and the dream about the Hangul, what could be done better.
이런 것도 만들고 있습니다.
Now this is another commercial product. It's a magnetics, but these are the vowels and the consonants. But this one doesn't have all 26. It has only few because my typeface can be combined many different ways to complete the sentence.
제 조형 재료로 활용도 하고
So
있습니다.
now it become almost like artistic, elements and slash more practical commercial value. How we can use Hangul.
인형도 만들었습니다.
These are the dolls.
크게
Different materials.
대형으로 설치할 계획도 가지고 있습니다. 제 친구입니다.
My friend.
간판 글자에 대해서도 관심을 가지고 있습니다.
This is actually interesting because you see the last vowel consonant is flipping 90-degree angle over, so it pops up off the word.
누워있는 한글을 일으켜 세우는
Yeah, you almost see the letters are becoming three-dimensional elements. So you see those, yeah.
이런 이야기도 만들고 있습니다.
Now I'm making a story based on my lovely characters.
세 개의 한글 자모 세 가지만 가지고
So only three
그 다양한 형태를 만들 수 있습니다.
characters. I'm playing with this that make some fun elements.
최근에 이런 것도 만들고 있습니다.
So this is the last. It's only 2-minute video, and we will finish.
이렇게 보면 이게 동물 형태잖아요.
Now look at this.
얘 이름은
This
슈거든요.
animal.
슈거든요.
This name is a shoe.
제가 이 슈에 대해서 이야기를 하나 만들었어요.
Now I have a story.
조금 나이가 들면 날개가 쏟아.
Now this little animal, when it become older, it will have wings to fly.
슈가 한자도 만나고 아랍
So
글자도
these
만나고
little Korean characters will fly over anywhere in the world
로마자도 만나고
and see another character friends in Europe and Asia and in other countries.
변신술을 가르쳐주고 싶어요.
Now this one is like almost like alchemy,
이
you know,
슈는 어떤 변신술을 가지고
changing by itself and transforming into the new structure.
돌면 이런 다른 동물의 형태가 돼요.
If I rotate different angles, different positions, all of a sudden it becomes new shape.
바뀝니다.
It's almost the same as the original principle of the Hangul.
또 하나 놀라운 것은 우리가 아까 기억자 두 개와 아자 하나라고 그랬잖아요.
Now the other interesting thing is
또는 이렇게 하면 수.
I can move around the different positions
그래서 얘가 만들 수 있는 글자가 70가지가 나와요.
and almost I can make 70 different words I can make out of only 3 characters.
한글의 전환무용한 무한
Now this one has evidence, the possibilities I can expand all different ways of making new structure of the letter form.
얘는 날아갈 때 슈슈슈 슈슈슈.
So now it makes the sound like what it says, shoo 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 is the sound of flying, like a little flickering effect.
예레반도 이제 날아가요.
Now this is going to Yerevan, Armenia next week.
고맙습니다.
Thank you.